There are clearly very, very obviously fan favorites in the Runeterra universe as far as Riot is concerned, and just in terms of general popularity. Riot
Alawi.
reacts to that. Yeah, right. Like
Mm-hmm.
like what is a new League of Legends game mode without playable Jinx? You know.
Yep.
Like there
I
are those
actually, you know
heroes
what?
you're
That's
gonna
a
see
really
again
good
and
topic,
again.
though.
Right, I feel that way too because I never thought about it until now, and I'm just like I'm looking at the like the 2xKO website right now with Braum and stuff, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, the inevitability of Jinx being in this game because she's in everything is very likely, and I'm like, there are characters like that. Braum is another example of that, which we're gonna talk about in a little.
Bro, they got him all
He's
the
in
way
everything,
from the
dude.
Freljord down to Bilgewater for the Rune King.
Straight up, like
Really look at
he
the
has to
cast
be
for the
there.
Rune King. Yeah. Bro, everyone else is from Bilgewater. Well, okay, you have then you have Yasuo, who's another one that's in this, and he's in a lot of titles.
Oh, Yasuo's
Ari,
very
who's
popular.
also again
Yeah.
in a lot of titles. They
Yeah,
brought them from
definitely
Ionia.
fan
They took
favorite.
Braum from Freljord and they brought them all together for the Rune King.
Yeah, dude. Right. They're just like, it's crazy because there are so many champions, right? Like, and just characters in general. I think that at this point, like, we're still at a point where most characters in Runeterra are champions in League of Legends. But even then, there are so many. But it really gets consolidated down to like I mean, like obviously, like you're still seeing like the occasional like curveball, but for the most part, it's boiled down to like maybe like 15 characters, right? That we see a lot of, I would say.
Well,
I mean, I'm cool with that.
And I think
it's
a
cool
bad
because
thing,
I like.
honestly. I don't think it's a good thing.
Oh,
I'm
really?
gonna be real. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing. I think World of Warcraft got set into that rut where now you have
MMO
Jaina
wise, yeah,
and
screw
Anduin
that.
and
Yeah,
Sylvanas and Thrall. You don't even
MMO
go
wise,
outside that
screw
cast.
that.
Like they
I
have a
hate it.
huge cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to see them stuck in the same rut where now they go back to these same characters over and over and over and over and over again. Like, no, you got to bring in those other characters. Like, maybe don't include Alawi or Jinx in this one. Briar was a nice addition because she's new. I will say this. I think Alawi is included a lot just because she's like a big, strong female, you know, and that caters to a demographic that really likes that, to see like people represented. And they're like, oh, yeah, you know, we have big, strong females too. And I think that's great, but I don't think you need to use her every single time in every single game. Like, I like to see a variety.
That's fair.
You know, I don't need to see. Yeah, I think Alawi is great.
like,
it's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
But
obviously I think Alawi has a very cool design. I think Alawi's a very cool character. But yeah, at the same time,
I
she is
like
probably
her.
one of like the weaker ones in terms of like I see a lot of her when like I honestly don't like care that much to where I would want to see a lot of her. Like Braum, character I definitely want to see a lot of. Echo, character I definitely want to see a lot of. You know, like I'm cool with seeing a lot of them because they're just Braum is just a fun dude. Whenever he's on screen, he's freaking awesome, and just cool stuff happens around him all the time. So I like his presence, right? Echo is just a character who at this point has so much story and is just a very well written character, both in terms of his personality and his backstory, that I just enjoy when he's on screen now because I grow attached to him because I've seen him so much and they've like invested a lot into him. But then there's like Alawi, and I feel like, yeah, she has a cool presence. She doesn't have like Braum level presence though, to where I actually want to see him everywhere, you know? Alawi's just there, and I'm like, that's
I think
cool.
There's champions
but
that
I also want to
deserve
see
more
more
time.
champions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like to a point where I don't want Alawi to overshadow other characters, and that's even true to Braum and Echo to an extent, right? Like at the end of the day, I would be very excited if they're willing to branch out a little bit more. That's true. But also, I'm always happy to see Braum, and I'm always happy to see Echo. It's weird. I'm kind of split on it, where I'm happy either way, but for different reasons. whether they branch out to other characters or whether they stick to these characters a little bit longer, I think there are pros and cons to either or. I'm kind of split on it, actually.
I mean, I would be disappointed if Alawi wasn't in 2xKO. I feel like she's a great champion for 2xKO. She fits in there really well.
2xKO.
I think Braum,
she's sick.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I feel like there's characters like Taric from Targon, who's like this guy from Demacia, climbed Mount Targon. You know, you see nothing of him. Like he's not anywhere. But I feel like he's got a huge backstory, and he could be really like a Khadgar level character for the RiotMMO.
Yeah,
but we don't see him.
Yeah, when I first started learning about Runeterra and all the characters, I assumed that Taric would be one of these characters. I assumed that Taric would be like okay, we're gonna see a lot of him. We're gonna see him around everywhere. But no, but he's such an important character. like I feel like this is the dude who's going to stop the like not stop but be an important part in stopping the inevitable doom that is like Aurelian's soul coming for our planet, right? Like
Yeah,
I feel like he's
I
gonna
would
have
think
a
so.
big role in that to play, and that alone shows how like powerful he is and how important he is to the protection of Runeterra. And yet we just don't see a lot of him. Even like personality wise, I feel like he fits the role of like a like you can instantly tell what kind of person he is as soon as you see him. You know, like he's easily identifiable. He's kind of iconic in that sense. Yeah, I like that too, especially in something like Runeterra where there's so many characters and they're all so different and diverse. I really like when I'm able to just look at a character and be like, oh yeah, Echo's kind of snarky, right? Like you can just tell that by the way he poses, the way he smiles. Like you get that vibe from him. And Tarek is definitely that way too, where he just looks like a source of like benevolence, right? He looks like he wants to protect Runeterra, and he has that kind of like supportive role in him. Like I see that from Tarek, and it's just like he fits the iconic role, but he's just not. We just don't see him. Everything's there. All the pieces are together. He's just not around though. It's odd. Like just you bringing him up right now again made me realize, oh yeah, dude, what the hell, Tarek?
Bro, Tarek could absolutely be like one of those mainstay characters that they use a lot, and I just don't want to see Riot get stuck in the same rut where they keep going back to those same characters over and over and over again, because you need to constantly be introducing new characters, and also you have a huge cast. Like this is a time to introduce people to new characters. Maybe they feel like they want to establish a couple characters that are very relatable so that people can know some, and then they'll try to expand it out later, and so they keep hitting on the same people: Vi, Jinx, Echo, Illaoi, Braum, Misfortune, and they keep hitting on them over and over and over again, hoping that these characters will stick, so at least they can say, oh, I recognize one of these people,
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it too. Yeah, is that like in terms of like marketing, right? Like it makes a lot more sense to have some iconic characters that, like we said, you can look at them for 1 second and immediately like know their personality or like what they're about. And these are definitely the characters that they target to spread everywhere. And it makes sense to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like I see what they're going for. I just hope that like come the MMO, we're not gonna have that. I really hope that we're not gonna have here's the main cast of characters that you're gonna see all the time, like World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy 14, where you can immediately just tell like, oh yeah, like you're gonna see other characters, but these are the characters with actual story arcs. Nobody else has any kind of character progression.
Yeah, everyone else's background.
Yeah, the main character is no longer the world at that point. It's now, the main cast. Yeah, I don't like that. I like honestly between expansions, I want a complete shift in roster. Personally, I very rarely want to see the same characters throughout multiple expansions, unless we go back to Zon after we've already been there. Obviously then I want to see all the characters that I met before and how they're doing. But if we're going to a new place, I want it to just be a new place with new people. I feel like that way it keeps it in perspective of the world instead of in perspective of, oh, what's like freaking Darius gonna do in this place now? Like we followed him through Noxus and now he's with us all the time, and he takes the Noxus army everywhere we go. I wonder what emotional thing he's gonna go through for the 6th expansion now that he's become a crybaby. Cough cough Anduin.
Yeah, cough cough. And you don't even have to cough at that. Everyone thinks the same thing. I think Anduin needs some time away. People can forget about everything. Then he needs to come in much later and do something badass, and everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, Anduin." But right now,
I agree. People need to forget about him so that we can remember him later, and he'll be way cooler all of a sudden. I actually agree with that. I think it's a good idea. And just give some more focus on other characters, right? I think World of Warcraft definitely has that issue, and I'm worried now that you bring it up and saying yeah, these are the reasons why it's bad. Yeah, in terms of the MMO, for sure, it could go very poorly in my own personal taste and what I want out of an MMO. I definitely do not want a main roster of characters like how they're doing right now with current titles. But I also think it's fine with what they're doing right now. Like 2XKO, yeah, I'm fully expecting them to release the popular characters for the sake of the game being popular, right? For the sake of the game doing numbers,
Yeah.
they gotta put in the recognizable characters that people see everywhere. Like, that makes total sense to me. But when the MMO comes around, like, main character's the world, all right? We're talking about Runeterra. We're not talking, this is not Braum time anymore. It's Runeterra time.
Yeah, I completely agree that the main character has to be the world, and that main cast, get everyone established, get everyone to know them, and then you can spread it out. Maybe that's why we haven't been seeing as many Yordles, but there is one Yordle that I just want to touch on really quick that everyone loves. I think everyone loves. He showed up in Arcane a few times. Teemo. And
Teemo.
like, some of the
he's lovable.
Some of these characters are just gonna get out into the world organically, naturally. And it turns out that scientists have named a new crab species after Teemo. They discovered a new species of crab in the coral reefs of the South China Sea and named it after one of the League of Legends the person in the article wrote most hated champions. I'd argue one of the most beloved champions. And that's Teemo.
Dude, this is a MOBA we're talking about. It's
now called Gothis Teemo. Yeah.
I mean, like, let's be honest. I'm sure every champion is the most hated champion, right? I feel like League would be that kind of game where there's no champion that you could talk about, people won't be like, oh yeah, like what a good and honest champion that is. Wow. Like,
Teemo's a little bit more annoying because he just poisons you and runs away. Like, that's his whole strategy, is to kind of lure you close, poison you and then run away so you chase him into mushroom traps. So like, I feel like Teemo is a little annoying, and I could see that. I understand, but him as a character, as an actual character, is really, like, I like Teemo's story, and I like him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I understand
it's hard to
he
hate him out
annoying.
of context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the official Teemo Crab right now, and I like how it has Teemo's colors. It has that, like, that
I think
tan
that's why they
and that
named
dark
it.
brown. Yeah, it's pretty adorable, actually.
The Gothis Teemo.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
I know. I thought it was really interesting.